Hey there, Pisces. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, click that subscribe button and ring the bell. They'll be sure to notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy of the World, be sure to give us that big thumbs up, like, share, and comment down below. So also, to those of you who sent donations into the channel, I see that the 4 new decks are on the way. They're just around the corner, and so they should be showing up in your videos next week. I am looking forward to it. Other than that, I am glad to have you here. It touches my heart to tune into your energy and see what is going on. So, in the center, we have kingship. All right. This is about all the privilege that comes with it and why we need to step into the authority of who we are, why it's bold, bright, and beautiful, why it's worth it, instead of thinking that somehow diminishing ourselves benefits those around us. It's like, no, step in, take the gold ring, step forward, go there, because when you step into that privilege, not only does it afford you the right to operate in your love, in your power, in your strength, in your divinity, it also opens the gateways and the channels for others to walk in theirs as well, just by your example, just by your throat chakra. The throat chakra is not just what we say, it is our example and how we live it and walk it out in this lifetime. It is the meeting of the minds, the place where our heart and our mind come together, and that our integrity demonstrates itself, and we show the world what we believe, what we truly think, and how we feel. Okay. So let's go ahead and we're going to mix a few tarot for you here. You were telling me in the pre-shuffle of what I was getting together, you said, be fair, Joy. And I'm like, okay, you have chosen you. Interesting. All right. So let me see what's happening with that. I need 3 more. Okay, that one did not want to leave my hand. We're going to start with you up. Get 2 more for you guys here, Pisces. Let's get some clarity on this kingship and what is coming in that is yet to be seen. 2 volunteers, very clear. Nope. All right. I'll take the 2 that are crossing right there. Put the rest back. Okay. See what's at the bottom. Sorry. Got a stray hair. At the bottom, we have the Strength card. So we've got some sort of blockage going on here. We have indecision obviously going on here. Okay. And then Strength. Oh, there's a doubler, Strength and 8 of Swords. It's like you're saying, let's be fair, I've got myself in a mess, not sure what to do, but my heart knows what to do. So you're in conflict, which makes perfect sense, because this card at the top, this Angel of Strength, was really showing up more as you need to change your mind. So it's getting your soul seat and your sacral chakra, your treasury, on the same page. You know that phrase, put your money where your mouth is, that kind of thing going on. The put up, shut up, that type of thing is what you gonna do. What you gonna do? Are you going to say, oh, you're showing me, are you going to take the effort to shove this big dream of yours back down, to suppress your power once again in order to play fair, play nice, and not be a peacemaker, but be a peacekeeper? Let me tell you, if you're having to suppress yourself, shove it down, diminish yourself, that ain't peace, my friend. That's not peace. And so that form of peacekeeping is out of balance with life, which is why you were saying play fair. So instead of playing fair, the way I'll play fair is bring balance back to this by shooting from the hip and telling you the truth. Not just what shows up in the traditional tarot. That's why I say I'm an intuitive reader. It is how the cards speak. I'm a massage therapist by trade, so it's all about body language, about positioning, about relation, and that's what you're showing me here is, are you going to turn a blind eye to this? And it's not even about the other person, the coworker, the job, the situation, the COVID, the whatever. It really has to do with your interpersonal relationship with yourself. So to have a relationship, you need a two-way street. It's 2 lanes. One lane goes one direction and one lane comes in the return direction, okay? Just like our arteries and our veins. It all has purpose and therefore it can bring meaning to our life. So you're showing that one direction, you're all fine and good with that. You've got that all clear. You've got that on the skinny going up and you're able to navigate that, but you're blocked on the return. Why are you blocked on the return, Pisces? So let's take a look here. Okay. First, we're going to see, well, that's the indecision. I want to jump into why you're blocked on the return. It was so good, it bent the car, baby. Knight of Wands. All right. This has to do with a bit of your personal power. We think of the base chakra as the power. That's like our source. So our power is really coming from our sacral chakra, our permission to be our true authentic self. And that energy is obviously restrained, highly restrained, and that's showing like it's almost like scar tissue, energetic scar tissue going on those lower realms. Remember, your strength you were showing me here was all this suppression, this blind eye, this denying of oneself. Okay? Shooting from the hip. Remember here, Pisces? You guys have been doing so well, and then this last week you were showing up about something going on beneath the surface. So I'm glad that splinter, that like shard of glass is ready to make its way up and out and get rid of that underlying pain. But this, remember, was about the will in the sacral chakra, getting on the same page, working in that realm, because that's where your power to change, to create, to manifest is coming from. But here, it's like the things that I have to say it that turn you on. It's not even just sexually, y'all. This is our sensual pleasure center. It's where all the senses start to move together. It's like when you crank the car, that moment, that catalyst, that ignition. Okay, sacral chakra, our catalyst. Thank you. It fires up and gets all the parts communicating and humming and circulating and moving about. And that's what you were showing us here with that kingship. And so this Knight of Wands, it's more about the power of your horse. It's holding a stance. It's like freeze frame. When you were kids, if you ever played red light, green light, red light, stop. Green light, go. And you'd have to try and make your way to the person who is saying it so you could tag them and get them before you got tagged, okay? So here you're like frozen in position thinking it's an either or scenario. This is no either or scenario. One thing I know that is true to life, if it is beneficial and truly good for you, it is truth. It is beneficial for everyone involved who's a ripple effect in your world. Anyone that you come in contact with, that's how we can stand in the bold self-assurance and the confidence of knowing that life works all things together. Like the roots of the tree are not in competition with the leaves. They are sharing and communing and communicating. The leaves send down a request for what they need. The roots find it and they bring it and send it back up. And then it's this conversation that is going on, just like when a baby breastfeeds. They have found and studied that the sucking pattern sends information to the brain of the mother, the one who's feeding the baby, of what the next meal should be composed of. Crazy, y'all. That's that conversation. That is that innate dialogue going on with your sensual self. The reason you should be, yeah, ouch, oh, whoa, to be honest and true to those responses in the mind. It's not always just coming out of your mouth. It can just be a surge, like a connection, like a bank account, like a debit card, being able to run that energy up and down your spine with yourself, okay? That's how yourself knows to bring in what it is that delights you, what it is that you desire. You see, that has no concept of anyone else. We need to realize that we are the sun of our universe. If we don't begin to be the sun, then how do the planets have order in which they revolve around? How does our zodiac move? How do we have any understanding? The thing that we are to navigate and to know here is ourselves. To know how to work and move with our own energy. If we do not, stepping outside of that, that's like not knowing how to drive and getting behind the wheel. Does that make sense? So we need to know how to navigate and to relate to ourselves, to get that relationship going with ourselves where both lanes are unblocked, okay? Where it can return to you, where your sensual pleasures, the things that you dream of and desire that really fulfill you and that like green up your leaves because your roots know to draw up the sap, the nutrients to get it there. It's honest, genuine, true communing, thus communicating with yourself, okay? And that is blocking what you know it. Love, the flow, the King of Cups. In this, the blue is really jumping out. We could think blue water, but it's really pulling me to this card. Gabriel, throat chakra. Having to do with that type of energy flowing through here, because I see it, I've always seen it very much as cyan. This very alive, the turquoise waters, the living waters, that type of a thing. And you're selling yourself short is what you're showing me here. Can you see that? Your prosperity? You're selling yourself short by being dishonest with yourself, by suppressing your true feelings and emotions, thinking that it's better for all. Now, were you doing this because you knew it was better for all? No, you only knew what you had been told. You know, we repeat things often out of ignorance, not knowing any differently. Ignorant means not to know. And that's it, and repeating that pattern. That's why y'all call forth these energy sessions, is so we can dive in and we can begin to know the energy that's moving around us, the energy that we are breathing into our souls and back out of our bodies, that we're having intimacy with, we're having intercourse with, we're having that relationship and that dialogue of the eyes. Remember, our intellect, our intuition, our instinct, and our intimacy. So let's go above here, and we're going to look at what's going on with this Knight of Wands. So we have new beginnings. We have this credit card coming in, but it's coming in like this. So there's a great surge of energy wanting to rise up, it's funny because this tree kind of peeks into it, but it's this way. So it's really reiterating that connection of the roots and fruits. They're one and the same. There's this great surge, this pressure that's building, wanting to come up and to move through your channel. And you're like, I know. Okay, well, you just told on yourself. You're like, I know. That's why I'm trying to keep it down. Are you afraid that you're too much? That you want too much? Or that what you want isn't something everybody else wants, and then you might be deemed weird or odd or questionable? We don't have to know. That's part of the journey of the knowing ourselves, is letting this divine communication occur, and then we generally find out along the way what that experience is about. What is it that delights our soul? Why is that integral to who we are? Like when I took off and moved to Florida, I had a neighbor say, why are you going? I said, I honestly have no idea. I just know I'm being pulled there and being drawn there. I said, I'll let you know whenever I find out. It's that type of energy, okay? So let's peek over the King of Cups, where you have been blindsiding, selling yourself short, that type of thing, cutting off your prosperity. Okay, so creativity, the fire flower, it's like it's been left on the ground. You've abandoned your creativity. All right? You're abandoning your creativity because it was taking too long, taking up too much time, pulling away from other things that you saw as more profitable, you saw as more prosperous. But again, remember that selling yourself short, that is only part of the story. And here, this part of you, this prosperity can't even flourish until that creativity comes about, because that's what we're being shown here in our integrity. Remember, in our example, it's not just what we say out of our mouths, it's how we conduct and live our lives in our truth. That's what this is talking about here. Is the 39 at the top says it will always return to creativity for you. Creative concepts are your source. All right, so make room for them. Make room for what you call creativity, for that sensual pleasure, for that relationship. So what it's showing is you're allowed to send out when you want, but life isn't allowed to call it forth from you. Okay, so being able to have that flow like a battery, both posts have to be cleared, and both diodes, I don't know what they are, but those thingies have to be connected in order to create the circuit to have the battery power the motor. If it's not connected, you aren't going anywhere. Obvious. That's why the horse, your power, is frozen. Okay, friend, you want to get going? You want to go somewhere? Let's take a look at this card and see what is bridging them and bringing them together. Welcome home. Welcome home. Feeling comfortable with your skin, and especially the passage of time. Especially, you're saying, the big demands that the spirit and the eye in the sky, heaven has on you. It is expecting a lot, you're saying, of this tiny little house of mine, of this little person, of this person that I am. I'm just one little person. You know, how could I do that? How is anything great going to come from me? It's kind of that mindset, and that's what you're showing over here with Uriel. You were talking about your cosmic mindset going on, that order comes from you and you alone. All right, you and you alone, my friend. And what you have been gifted with, what is inside of you, what stirs you up, how you connect with life is yours and yours alone. And it can't even be shared. It can't even be manifested into this world except through you, by you, in conjunction with life. Getting that relationship, getting that sensuality flowing, getting that pump going, knowing that you are loved, you are lovely, and you are worth it. Because the things you're going to see, know, and find out happen hereafter. Like, I didn't know why I was moving here. But once I began to enjoy this beautiful ocean, feel free, enjoy watching others live their lives boldly and enjoy themselves, man, it just lit me up. But my soul, remember that permission, that changing my mind, that going with the flow, saying yes. My soul knew all along. It knew where my true strength came from. It knows what inspires this creativity for me that makes it almost effortless, simply needing to give myself permission. And that's what I'm hearing about you, my friend. Okay? So are we going to go into the kingship? Yep. Okay. So hopping off the angel of strength, there's a card really just leaning forward, wanting to come in. And so it was like that. So it's going to look like this. Okay, shock block. This is shock block. That is a chakra being blocked. But here it has to do with the divine eye. Okay, more like the synergy of those two chakras working together activates our nadis, like our star communication type system. I don't know how else to say it. But it's not just the internal dialogue with our own soul and our soul seed. It's like our star seed. And it's where that emanation, where that communication is coming out cosmically, but also to the world around us, our environment. And therefore, being out of balance, having this block, it's getting mixed signals. But remember, that's what we found out over here. There were those mixed signals going on. So life doesn't know how to dance with you. Like when you dance, there are two people together. One is the leader, one is the follower, but both are the dancers. Okay? It's not called leading and following, it's called dancing, right? So dancing is that road, it is that relationship. So what? That one leads and one follows. The joy therein is the beauty, the communication, the divining of the dance, the purpose of living. And you're here to live, to be alive, to be animated, to be enjoying, to be your full, beautiful, cup full of love self, confident, self-assured, all of that, creating this magnificence through the channels of time that you do, allowing that big God speak, allowing that cosmic connection to flow through, because it's only going to come through you. Okay? You and you alone. When you begin to know that, you realize your body is the pencil of the cosmos. It is the instrument through which they write. It is the instrument through which they draw. It is the instrument through which they create and through which we communicate. It is why Joy to the World was even birthed out. They're like, shove, and I'm like, oh, what? What are you doing? And they said, we need your voice. We need you to go speak for us. I'm like, I don't know much. I don't know anything. I don't. They're like, no, but you're an open, pure channel. That's all we need. We'll tell you anything and everything you need to know as you need to know it. But other than that, that's all we need is your utmost surrender. So here, surrender. Surrender yourself. Surrender your idea of who you are. Surrender your reputation. That's where life begins. Surrender your concepts. Okay, so I remember a meditation I had to take a bit of a deep meditation time for this sector, this block of readings I'm going to do, because I do 3 in a row usually. And they were showing me about, it's generally when we don't understand things that the magic begins to happen, that it can really come forth, because it will happen greater than we can imagine, because it's superseding our ability and capability, which means we just need to open. We need to avail our home. And at the bottom of this, you might not be able to see, but the mat in front of the door says welcome. Okay? To be welcoming to this energy, to the divine dance with life, allowing life to lead and us to follow. Because at that moment, we don't have to think about a thing. We get the full experience, like magnetizing us, electrifying us, moving through us, awakening this sensuality to where there ain't no damnation going on in that lower realms. All that scar tissue can't even exist. It's blown all out, because that's a relic of the past. Life is careening and caressing and flowing through you in magnificent abundance. So let's see what's underneath this card, okay? We have the 5 of Swords. They're talking about lay it down, surrender, grow tired and weary of this old perspective. And you have. That's why you called in this reading. These is purely y'all's energy, just my hands that shuffle the cards and bring it out, and I'm the mouthpiece. Like a microphone isn't the singer. The microphone is simply the instrument. Y'all are the singers, okay? And I'm just the microphone. So that's how these energy sessions work, just FYI. So here it's saying surrender, lay it down, get rid of those old mindsets. Rise up in this new creativity, this new creative power, because in the background, I see the essence of this king coming forward in communication, in divine communication, as a messenger, wanting to send these messages to and through you. Okay, so let's look over this card. We got Temperance coming in, and Temperance was the one that showed its face. That was it. Wanting us to know from the beginning why this is going on, to make the magic. Kind of like, regardless of how you feel about Disney World, it birthed in this whole new concept that what used to be relegated just for children could keep the dreamer in adults alive and awake too. It kept that pink energy, like the pink and the aqua energy, flowing through life, coursing through the veins of the earth and the world, to say anything and all things are possible. Remember, superseding what we can imagine and going into those realms. That's what cartoons and Pixar and that type of thing, comic strips, they can do, is they bypass our logic, our formulations, our, like here, the prisms of logic. Can you see that? The black and white merging together, the contrast, the prisms of logic. They totally expel that function. They can't even operate in that function. So here it has to do with the nobleness of the high heart, being aligned, open, fully open for what seems like a big giant eye, is what they're showing me. It seems like a big giant eye trying to send down all this massive creativity. But yes, although the skies are bigger than we can even conceive, it does a step down process, just like our electricity out at the lines. We have these transformers and these coils that take something that literally would fry everything, and it steps it down and steps it down to put it to the wiring in our house, which steps it down and steps it down through the breakers to run it to the socket through which we insert our plug and get our lamp to come on, okay? In a way that I might burn my fingers on the light bulb, but it's not raw electricity flowing through here like lightning in my house, okay? That's what they're saying, is how they're going to step that energy down to connect with you, to have this be a positive, beautiful, beneficial experience. Life wants to engage in dialogue with you, and life isn't a brute. Life isn't forceful. Life doesn't take advantage. Life is offering you this advantage of the divine dance, of being electrified, of being intrigued, of being mesmerized, of having this move through you and have your jaw fall open like, oh, how did I do that? What was that? And you just get the shivers, like, oh, what a Cajun friend, frisson. You get chill bumps all over, right? And it's like, wow, that is something that heightens you to go and do it again, to experience it again, to live this again. And that's what they're talking about here, because it's both the pink of the high heart and the magenta of the earth realm. So when this energy comes, it pulls it from the ground. It brings that energy into the roots to feed the tree, to feed the fruits. We have a visitor.
As usual.
We share houses, right, in these COVID days. This is my son. This is great. You got to dip a little lower if they're going to see your eyes. There you are, baby. Say hi. Hey. Yeah.
Anyways, just want to do a little cameo. I like to pop in here.
Yeah, we get a little surprise every now and again, like the Easter Bunny. Easter Bunny. Yeah, I've told him to never, these are open and I go about and I do them, but this is our home. This is our life. We should all feel welcome here. And my life shouldn't have to diminish in order to bring these out to you. I would hope that y'all are connecting because I'm genuine, real, true. I'm human, right? My blood pumps just like everybody else's. So that's my son. Anyway, so that's a bit of that creative energy going on here in that temperance, right? That beautiful magenta bringing about the fruits, bringing about this magnificent divine expression. But we are the channel through which that cosmic eye, that divine life comes down, touches the earth, kisses us, and it draws that magenta up out of the earth through our body like garnet, rolling through. And it's like it gets the caduceus, it gets the... Well, you're showing me the DNA, the chains of life flowing. It turns it into cosmic DNA. It's like it heals and repairs all the ADTP. Huh. I like that. Y'all doing some medicine today, Pisces. Are you doctors? Are you nurses? Are you healers? Well, I know this. Oh, this was in the meditation time. Look at that. It's supposed to be this way, y'all. Intense pressure, but it's coming in like this. They're like, stand up and receive. When you're like this, your gate is shut, okay? It's not quite open. It's like the one in the zero, you're open or shut. And so this is you laying down on it because you're like, remember, you're still undecided. You're still like, well, laying down on the job sort of ish. But if you knew differently, you would have the opportunity to process this, meditate on it with your spirit and your guides, and decide how it feels to you, how it really resonates in truth, okay? But that's why we're sharing the information now, so that you can know more information. You can know a greater perspective, okay, to take a different look at this. So it's funny because they were showing me like mapping us, and in the center, it's like we could be that dot in the very center of the center, but that's also the symbol for the sun. It's also for the season of Leo. It's about when all these come in to press around us, that's when we can know exactly where we're at. Like, that's why hugs are so great. When you do, like, you get to feel your own skin. You get to feel feedback, right? So life is wanting that feedback, that creativity, that divine response, that dance, that smile, that gleam in the eye about this beautiful relationship. Because I'll tell you, can anything love you like life can? And once life begins to love you, remember that divine transformation going on here, and your world becomes whole, it becomes balanced, and then it hopefully, pa-ching, flips that up right. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, that's the hopes here, y'all. So what brings these two together? What clears that shock block, like that logic mindset of the old way when we're going into the era of color television? Color shows were still being produced, but if you beam it through a black and white TV, it's still going to present as black and white. And you just didn't know. And I'm like, well, let's upgrade your system, baby. Let's get you Wizard of Oz going on up in here. Let's turn on your color, okay? Thus the pressure of like, I don't know, but that's all right. You got all the time in the world to work through this, to listen to this, and to let divine move through you. But here's the accessory energy coming in to help make it clear. And this is showing me, it's almost like this being an eyeball, right? And that's the pupil. Like, it's not letting in a lot of light. The light's really bright, but when you go out into the darkness, the eye needs to open up wide to bring in as much light as possible. So that's you trying to get your head wrapped around this concept, all right? So let's take a look at this Ace of Swords, being undecided. We're going to get, where are they? We're going to get 3 of these babies, and then y'all will be on your way, Pisces. I need 3 clarifiers on this Ace of Swords and Pisces kingship. I felt you. You're wanting to come. Where are the other 2? 1 here. Ooh, inversion. All right. Y'all, what do we do? Do we want to trade them? because these three came out together. I want to go in harmony because we're going with the one. So let's see what's happening here. Let's see what is happening here. I see why these are on a side like that. To the moon and back, Lorelei. Okay, so that Knight of Wands, it was working against yourself. Energy being against yourself. This Ace of Swords, turn upright. It's still your decision, but I want the energy to flow directly so we could get that edge. It's a two-edged sword, so there's a divide, a contrast on it so that we could get the clarity that we need. But the Ace of Swords, to me, always means divine reward. It is the trump card of the swords. It is the full empowerment to operate in your primo authority, right? You're beyond a king. You're beyond an emperor. You're like the divine one. You know, the power of that eye going on here. And I love it. The one coming in up under is 29, the perfect key. You know what unlocks your heart? And this is a reiteration. They're binding it back to this, to the sacral energy. You know it turns you on. Remember that? Remember that? And they're saying life knows too. Life knows too. And what life is calling in here is perfect, made for you. It's like, well, like if you have a tailor, but like a full-on, full-time tailor, you don't just go and buy a suit and get it adjusted. One is made for you. You get to pick the fabric, you can pick the thread, you can pick the stitching style, you can pick anything you want. Anything you can imagine here is your kingship and your authority. They're putting the tomahawk on it. They're pulling straight on up, divining this road to remind you it is your ultimate authority. This creativity and this concept that life comes in, life just wants to charge you up. Life wants to open your eyes and to empower you to completely see yourself, who you are. Give yourself permission to see. Look at that. To unblock you. To allow your divine truth, space, real estate here on earth, okay? And then under this side, since we just pulled that up, we have 48, the butterfly garden. It's kind of like still being stuck in a dream. You're going, well, if I did, what fabric would I choose? I don't really know. I'm still unsure. Look at that. The butterfly that you are, even your magical, mystical self of what you're going to be when you come out of this chrysalis, when you step into your kingship and authority and you put the welcome mat out in front of your house, it's going to match you perfectly. Y'all are wearing the same thing, darling. You are the same. You are the same now, today, and forever. All right? What this energy does is it begins to flow through and things align and they go right. Remember when this naughty, this energy going on here, it's sending out your truth. It's sending out your genuineness. So it's sending out the messages into your environment and the world around you that align with your perfect truth, with who you really are through and through. And that will meet up with you. That will come to you. You're not going to have it stingers and biters and swatters and all that yucky, gnarly stuff. You're going to have your beautiful energy in a different form, looking right at you, okay? Calling in that creativity, that divine connection with your beauty to pollinate you with what? The fruit that will come here is the nectar of life, which is joy. And that is what is abounding. So that's why hashtag my joy abounds, right? They walked me into that one. So next is 19, the journey, about the King of Cups and the Knight of Wands, right? About getting that car, getting that motor running, get you moving. And it totally does. It's like your magical chariot arrives. They're like, it was there all along. That's kind of what Glinda the Good Witch tells Dorothy. You had it all along, my dear. So all along, you have the power and the permission to find your way home. Home is who you are. Home is where the heart is. Remember that blockage and getting on the same page between the mind and the heart? There's a mind in your heart if you didn't know it. There's actually circuits that run like a brain in order to operate the heart independently so that the oxygen can move through the body and still take care of your blood. So that's it. That's it, my friends. Man, what a race. Give life a chance. Hey, it's gonna be divine. That's it. Beautiful, just like you. I'm excited about it, friends. Remember, subscribe if you hadn't already. Leave some comments down below and give it the big thumbs up for me. This is Joyce saying bye for now.